Okay, so when you picture a spirit who died unmarried, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Probably a lonely, wandering ghost, right? Well, in Taiwan, some of these souls do a lot more than just wander. They actually become powerful goddesses. We're going to dive into this really unique tradition that transforms forgotten women into these cherished protectors of their communities. Love and persistence. That one phrase just completely flips the script on the whole ghost story idea. We're not talking about sad, spooky spirits here. We're talking about legends. Legends born from defiance and incredible community support. It's a tradition that really challenges all our assumptions about what a restless soul can be. And to really understand how this all works, we've got to meet a very specific goddess. One whose followers thank her not with the usual incense or fruit, but with brand new lipstick and perfume. And that small, totally modern detail, it tells us so much about the deep, personal connection between a community and its guardian. So let's start with our main story. This is going to introduce us to a deity known pretty affectionately as the romantic guardian god Shengma Gunyang. So over in the town of Changhua, locals have built this temple for Shengma Gunyang, the Maiden saint. And her title isn't scary or intimidating at all. It's so warm and inviting. But how did she earn that kind of reverence? Well, her story starts with a pretty incredible act of defiance. Yeah, her power today is completely rooted in her origin story, which is all about this vow of defiance. Understanding where she came from is totally key to getting her divine role today. So picture this. It's the Qing dynasty. And this young woman is facing an impossible choice. She's supposed to marry a man she knows is just unworthy. But she chooses to honor her parents' memory and makes this incredible, principled stand. She flat out refuses the marriage. And her conviction, it just moved the community so much that they couldn't bear the thought of her soul being lost. So they did something extraordinary. They banded together and built her a temple, giving her a permanent home. Okay, but that brings up a really crucial question, right? Why did her neighbors have to build her a temple? Why couldn't her own family take care of her spirit? Well, the answer gets to the very heart of what we can call the ghost dilemma, a really deep-seated social problem. So here's the critical detail. In that traditional society, a woman's spiritual home after she died was with her husband's family, not her own. Her soul was supposed to be enshrined in their ancestral hall. So you can see the problem. If a woman never married, her spirit, well, it belonged absolutely nowhere. And this slide, wow, it lays out the difference so starkly, it's perfect. On one side, you have a married woman. Her soul has a home, it's worshipped, it's at peace. But on the other side, an unmarried woman. She was actually barred from her own family's ancestral hall, and of course had no husband's family to join. She was left spiritually homeless, basically destined to become a wandering soul. Now, in folk belief, a lonely, uncared-for spirit is a restless one. And there was a very real fear that these souls, through absolutely no fault of their own, could become troubled ghosts and cause all sorts of problems for the living. So this wasn't just a social issue, it was a spiritual one that the whole community felt they needed to solve. And this is where the story takes its most amazing turn. The community's solution wasn't just about calming down a restless spirit. It was about a full-on spiritual promotion, the transformation from a ghost into a guardian. The whole process is just fascinating. It starts with appeasement, right? The locals build a small temple to give the soul a home. But then something incredible starts to happen. Miracles. The spirit, now that it's being cared for, begins to show its power by actually helping the community. And that changes everything. Fear and pity just transform into respect and reverence, and the lonely soul gets elevated into this beloved guardian god. This chart shows her new role perfectly. Shengma Gunyang, the woman who defied a bad marriage, is now the #1 deity you go to for help with love and finding a worthy partner. I mean, how perfect is that? But her powers go way beyond romance. She's also known for helping local fishermen get a good catch and for watching over the community's health. She's become a true guardian of their entire well-being. So, if she answers your prayers, how exactly do you thank a goddess like her? This is where the tradition gets so personal and surprisingly modern. You thank her like you would a dear friend. Worshippers bring her brand new makeup, perfumes, beautiful new clothes, her favorite sweets. The whole idea is to give her in death all the lovely things she might have missed out on in life. It's so much less a formal religious offering and so much more a heartfelt, deeply personal gift. So, what does all this really mean? This belief system, it's not just a bunch of cool stories. It's really a mirror, and it reflects a society's core values, and it's very creative, very compassionate solutions to some really complex social problems. Let's just break this down for a second. Building these temples wasn't just an act of faith. It was a community finding a workaround, a solution to a rigid social rule that left people out. And the offerings of makeup and clothes, those aren't just gifts. They're acts of deep empathy for a life that was cut short. And finally, that transformation from ghost to guardian, it shows a society choosing compassion over fear and turning a potential threat into a powerful protector. At the end of the day, this tradition is just a profound form of spiritual care. It's like a promise from a community to its members that says, hey, even if the system fails you, the people won't. It makes sure that no one, especially a woman who stood so bravely by her principles, is ever, ever truly forgotten. So, we'll end with this question. What do a culture's ghosts tell us about its living? The stories we tell about who gets left behind and maybe more importantly, how we bring them back into the fold, they reveal so much about our deepest values. It's a fascinating way to really look at the heart of a society.